house
That's
inside
right.
the sportscape. The room is not as big as it would be, but can we get a shot? Give me the overhead shot of all the people we got inside here. Wave hello to other people. There's everybody over there. Let me move that. And over there. So lots of people in house today, lots of stuff to get to. We got to talk about Pistons Academy coming up this week. We also have youth football camps, so all the Detroit native NFL players coming back home, giving back to the community in a great way. So we'll talk about that as well. Carl Davis is here. Interesting Lamar Jackson comment. We'll get to that a little bit later.
And Carl's a very large human being, so we need to be careful what we say about the Baltimore Ravens.
That's very true. Look, guys, we got to start with the Tigers here because it's such a fun story that continues to develop. We all thought, and we say this every week, I feel like I'm a broken record on the show, we know they're not going to do anything, but when does that thought process stop? When can you finally say, well, I mean, the division is as bad as it's been since '95. Why not now? Why not this team? You've been watching.
Well,
I know you ain't been doing anything but watching.
I was impressed with Zimmerman yesterday and coming off the DL and having an opportunity to show his stuff. He did very well for, 5 innings, I believe.
He went into the 5th and then kind of fell apart. But.
I mean, the bottom line is, after the rally goose, anything's possible.
That's right. And it's the funny thing is now it's 4 straight games where they've come from behind, except for yesterday. Technically, they tied the game. So the rally goose is loose. I did write that super myself. I'm very proud of that, Kyle.
I mean, honestly, that goose, of course you did. That got Justin Rose written all over it. But this rally goose, honestly, is one of the best things to happen to the Tigers this season, just because it's a huge distraction. And the Tigers have embraced it, and they're trying to have fun with the fan base. But for me, I look at it a little bit differently. Jamer Candelario and what he's been able to do. You do have Joe Jimenez, who's been able to emerge in that bullpen, could be a huge piece moving forward. You need Michael Fulmer, to figure things out. His last start, very encouraging as things move forward. But, that's really what I'm looking at. The younger guys that could potentially be here for, a long time. But for Tigers fans, you just want something to watch this summer. A guy like him, he wants to be able to sit down and watch the Tigers at night.
Goes out, plays 36 holes a day, shoots, 8 under par for the 36, goes home, watch the Tigers have a little bit of fun.
What a life.
I know, right?
And how about Gardenhire and the job that he's done? Following Ausmus and the criticism of that. Is a guy who's brought renewed energy and leadership, I think, to those young kids, and they want to play hard for him every day.
Well, and that's one of those things, too. It's hard to get over, and maybe this is the pessimistic side of me coming out, it's hard to get over the mistake the Tigers made, keeping Brad Ausmus around for as long as they did, because it's clear Ron Gardenhire gets guys to play for him. Right. Now, would the veterans that they traded away last offseason at the deadline, would they have listened and embraced Ron Gardenhire the same way? I don't know, but Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez,
but here's
several veterans have.
You play right into the next segue, because the guys that are still here, who are the veterans and the stars, they're shining. Look at Nick Castellanos yesterday, 2 home runs, and afterwards he was the first to admit that he hadn't done anything to help this team win over the last week until yesterday. So he has, scores 5 runs yesterday. Jordan Zimmerman, he was the $215 million man. He comes in yesterday and retired 12 straight before he had a little problem, and that's just getting to the rotation the 3rd time through. That's what that is. So the stars are on this team, are doing their part. And it's almost like ham and egging. They're doing it kind of taking turns, and it's not all clicking, but it certainly is making them a lot of fun to watch.
Well, the interesting thing on the sidebar of yesterday's game was the bullpen at the end of the game in green, shining for the Tigers, and a former Tiger, not so great, for
Bruce Rondon, the guy, he's the gift that just keeps on giving to the Tigers.
It's about time he did something good for the Tigers. I mean, my goodness.
When he was in, I saw that red glove, and I went, no, Rondon, there's no way. And he walked promptly 3 batters, and Iglesias gets the infield. But no, it certainly is a lot of fun to watch it. What wasn't fun is to watch Miguel Cabrera exit the season because he is such a gravitating, figure in Detroit, especially when you talk about Tigers baseball. Let's talk about 2 different things here. First of all, when you saw the injury and obviously the surgery and the fallout that came from it, that's one thing. But is his career in jeopardy, or is at least returning to any sort of form that he was before?
I mean, I don't want to speak for a guy, but he's got 5 years and $160 million left in his contract. I don't see him walking away before those 5 years are actually up. Now, is he going to be back to what he was even back in 2016 when he had a kind of, revitalized year? Probably not. I mean, the power numbers have been down. The last 4 years, he's missed around 40 or 50 games, give and take, except for 2016. For me, the first thought was, here we go. And it's, I don't want to be, rude. I don't want to be a jerk, but this is going to be an ugly ride down for Miguel Cabrera over the next 5 years. Nasty deal and a big guy that's had a lot of injuries.
I was thinking about the same thing because it's very similar to Victor Martinez. And while Victor has had a couple of nice hits here and there, I mean, playing in the DH role, he hasn't necessarily been a world beater out there. And I wanted to bring up this, and you might have a good perspective on this, just watching sports as long as you have. When has a star ever left gracefully in the world? I mean, in so many times these big contracts, I'm talking about the big contract, the big guy, then they fit in Prince Fielder. We've seen it before in Detroit, and I just feel like Miguel is destined for a similar fate.
Well, generally speaking, you've got to go back before the big contracts and look at an Al Kaline who was, only a Tiger. And, that loyalty just doesn't exist in professional sports anymore like that. What's going to be interesting is Al Avila's legacy is going to be how he handles this, because all that money on the table, and when any sports team, whether it's any sports team in this city that trades their number one people away, and they lose that rebuilding that comes from your drafting, and you've seen it a couple places here, and they had to do what they did, the Tigers did, to get draft choices back, and they had all these draft choices this year and next year coming. But how they handle Miguel Cabrera and that big dollars.
Oof. Well, the one thing that's nice is that there is no salary cap in baseball, so Illiches are just on the hook. But
sure, fans get caught up in money.
Fans get caught up in the money,
and that's the hard thing to avoid. I mean, guys making $30 million a year, it is hard to feel bad for him. I think, even though they are human beings, he does feel he is going to be going through a grueling, rehabilitation process. But you look at the bottom line and you go, man, $30 million a year, 162 games, 81 home games at Comerica Park. You don't see him out there. That's tough as a fan.
He has always said, Miguel Cabrera, that he loves the game of baseball and he wants to play. So this will be the biggest test. He's never missed this amount of time in his career, guys. So it'll be a really interesting thing to see if he can bounce back and come back. He should be ready for spring training without a hiccup.
Can he do what Albert Pujols has done in LA?
Well,
that'll be the big thing.
Once he moves to
himself
when he moves to the DH role specifically, and he doesn't have to play first base every day, that I think would only help him in the long run.
And become more of a pull hitter. He's prided himself on being a guy that can hit to all fields, and that oppo power to deep right center.
It's great to see.
That's awesome. Good for you that you're a strong guy. Send it to left field.
Exactly.
I don't care about how deep
matter.
it is. It's a home run.
What wasn't a home run was Phil Mickelson's actions on the golf course yesterday. Let's take a look at that tape real quick here from the U.S. Open. It's been obviously a very tough thing, but do you guys have a problem with Phil? Look, he's 10 over at this point. He's putting for bogey, and he just decides to do what some of us do when we're playing with our buddies and kind of just hit it on the fly. Dad, I know you're a big golf guy, and I'm sure the buddies at the St. Clair Country Club have been talking about that. What do you make of that?
Well, I was disappointed personally as a fan, and I've always liked Mickelson. I was disappointed that he would do that. I understand the frustration that all of those players are undergoing. He's not the only person that has had issues. Zach Johnson today was quoted as saying that they've lost the course again, which happened the last time it was played at Shinnecock Hills. So I'm disappointed from that standpoint. But Phil's career shouldn't be based on this one action. He
was penalized for it. He took a 10. I mean, like it is
10.
What it is.
He wasn't in
That's where I'm at.
So
I almost look at it from
They don't even have
like
a name for 10, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Where'd the snowman go?
It's the Mickelson. We can. But I look at it as like, look, he had a frustrating round. He was not really in contention entering the day. He was still 12 shots off the lead or whatever. It spiraled out of control on him. It was, he's kind of just. I thought he was having fun with it.
It humanized it. We all do the same thing. We all get frustrated. We throw clubs. You especially.
Never.
I mean, it's
never
amazing.
in my life. My mom is laughing in the background because she's seen it too. Oh
the
boy.
Temper on you.
It wasn't a helicopter. They have a name for
Which
that.
went further, the ball or the club? Coming up next. All right, we are going to talk about the Pistons camps. They're getting rolling starting tomorrow, so we'll meet with the Director of Fan Development coming up next here on the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Take. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave. Now over to the bar set, welcoming in Gio Thomas, the Director of Fan Development over at the Detroit Pistons. Right. You guys are going to have a busy week.
Oh my gosh, we're starting up 265 kids next week. Half at LCA, half at Birmingham Groves. It's like a kid on Christmas Eve. We're ready to go.
You know, it's got to be exciting for you guys to see how many kids want to be a part of the Pistons development. There's so many summer camps out there, and then for you guys to be back in Detroit, I think that's a big draw as well. Yeah,
we have a couple camps in Detroit, LCA. In a couple of weeks, we're at the Bowl Center, the YMCA in Detroit. Tobias Harris was there last year, so we got a lot of energy coming back with that camp. But yeah, we're ready to go. We got 17 locations, including Ish Smith and Southfield coming up in a few weeks. So, like I said, it's going to be a busy summer. It's going to be fun.
Got anything for the man, Kyle?
Well, I mean, that's really where it all begins. You know, everyone starts playing sports at some point, and seeing a professional athlete, you know, you remember going back to the days when you actually got into sports. That's where the fire gets lit, right?
Right.
And that's you're around those guys.
The cool thing is we'll take kids of every ability, and we're like teachers. You know, you ever have that teacher that just has so much energy and passion for a subject that you do well in it? That's what all our coaches have. They just love basketball. We talk basketball, play basketball, breathe basketball, and we try to give that to the kids. So whether you're shy beginner, confident superstar, you're ready to go.
Gio, I'm curious, as a guy who works obviously with the organization, a lot of changes coming. You got a new head coach. You're still waiting for, you know, who's going to be taking over, maybe making some of the decisions out there. But from your perspective, what has been the fan experience like moving to Little Caesars Arena? How has the feedback been from your side of things?
Right. Actually, not bad. Change is, is never easy, and the environment we had at the Palace is different than we have at LCA. But as the season wore on, I think more and more kids and families were getting confident with the arena, becoming familiar with it to get that hometown feel. I bet you year 2 is even better than year 1.
For me, I'll say this. I'm so glad that you guys moved from the Palace, because getting from Northfield or Livonia out to the Palace during rush hour growing up was absolutely awful. I love it. It's a 10-minute drive for me, right up 75.
Right.
Yeah. No,
great. Nice.
It is good. What changes would you like to see made to make that experience a little bit different? Well, now that you've had a season under your belt and you guys can look at it and go, okay, what do we want to really do here?
Right. I think from my perspective is youth engagement, because that's where your future fans are going to be. So on the concourse, in the arena, we have some cool ideas for the halftime shows.
Okay.
Instead of just kids playing games, we have some skill challenges where we're going to bring in other NBA teams to represent, like Chicago, Cleveland,
very cool,
and compete against our kids from Detroit. So I think things like that would be awesome.
If kids want to get involved in some of your summer camps, where can they go? I think I have the pistonsacademy.com/camps. We'll get them started, but I said you sold out for this week at Little Caesars?
Yeah, we're 130 strong. There's no more room. There is some room at Birmingham, so if you want to get going this week, you can. Pistonsacademy.com has all the locations, phone numbers, maps, so everything you need to know to get to our camps this summer is right online.
All right, Dad, I'm going to have you move real quick because Gio's going to put me in the shot. I never make the shot. What do I got to do here? We're going to go to break?
Elbow in, chin up, shooting foot forward.
Okay.
Have faith. Have
no chance.
Confidence?
I got air conditioning.
The air conditioning. Gio Thomas, thank you so much. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Suburban Ford 7 Sports Cave. Happy to introduce Carl Davis, defensive tackle for the Baltimore Ravens. From Detroit, welcome back home. How's your summer been?
Everything's been great. Just finished up mini camp and just came back to just help out and do my part in the community.
So he's got a camp coming up next Saturday. Carl, tell us a little bit about the camp and how people can get involved.
Yeah, so you can sign the kids up at trenchworkfoundation.org, and we got about like 30 slots left.
Okay.
And you know, we just want all the kids in the community to come out and have fun and just stay active and get to hang out with some of my teammates coming out.
There it is. Who else is coming with? We got on there.
We got Matt Judon, Willie Henry, Anthony Levine, Christian Kirksey plays for the Browns, Micah Hyde for the Buffalo Bills.
Carl, it's more important than ever, I would think, from a football player's perspective, with everything that's been going on about community involvement and wanting to get a message out there that you guys are involved in the community and want to do what's right. How much do you see guys on your team doing this all over the country? Because these camps they've been around for a long time. This is nothing new, but I feel like today's environment, people want to see this more.
I think we understand like how every player can make a difference in the community. If everybody on the team steps out into the communities and doing something, reaching back, that we can help build up a new generation of kids and make this world a better place. And especially with everything going on, we just want to do our part. And a lot of guys, we're actually talking and inviting each other to camps, and I'm looking forward to just keep on continuing to do this in the future.
I see that a lot. When you go around and you see other guys coming to camps and helping each other out and doing different things. Yeah. It's kind of cool. I know up in St. Clair, Tim Lolito had the running back, Marvin, he won the Heisman, Ingram. What's his first name?
Mark
Ingram. He's from Flint. He came up to do it too, so that's cool. All right, let's talk football now.
Okay.
We were joking earlier. You got a new quarterback down there in Baltimore,
yeah.
Lamar Jackson. And I asked, is he as fast as he looked in college?
Like catching the squirrel, trying to catch the squirrel. I mean, he's out there. It's hard for people to get hands on him, and I look forward to seeing him this season and helping us win some games alongside, obviously, with Joe being our quarterback. But we'll see where he fits in that. But I'm excited to see what he does.
You guys got anything?
I mean, they said prior to the draft, Lamar Jackson was a little bit hesitant to be looking at other positions. Has he been moved around a little bit, or can you not reveal that?
No. Every time I see him, he's at quarterback. So he's taking quarterback reps. He's a quarterback, and But
I don't envy you trying to catch him.
Nah, I just keep contained, do what I got to do.
Yeah, I keep contained. How often have you missed contain with him out there?
Hey, I haven't been out there with him yet, so once I get out there, we'll see how hard it is. But just watching everybody trying to catch him, I'm really excited to see how he does this year.
What's the specs for your team? I mean, how much do you feel? This is your 4th year with the Ravens, right?
Yeah.
How you feel their development's going? It's a tough division you guys are in.
Oh, yeah, very tough, and I think we're gonna compete well. I think for sure we'll go to the playoffs the way we're looking right now, and I'm very confident in Coach Harbaugh and our plan right now and moving forward. So I think we got a great coaching staff, and we definitely got some great players. This year was a great draft, and I look forward to what we're going to do.
Coach Harbaugh, yeah, I heard that, and I was like, wait a minute, Jim left? And I forgot, his brother is in Baltimore,
Right,
yeah.
Yep.
Well, that works out well for you. Okay, so one more time, let's pull that graphic up one more time so we can see exactly where to go to sign up, how we can get involved. There it is. There it is. What's the website on there? I can't see.
trenchworkfoundation.org.
There it is. There it is. Perfect. We'll do that. Carl, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. And what we need from you right now at home, use the hashtag 7SportsCave. Get your questions in. We will ask the analyst coming up next here on our final segment of a very special Father's Day episode of the 7 Sports Cave. Go get them next year, all right, bud?
I appreciate it.
We'll see you next Saturday. Be right back. Never. Welcome back. Final segment here on the Suburban 47 Sportscape. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, the grandfathers out there. You got a special message for any of the fathers out there?
Hey, enjoy every day with your family. If you're looking for something to do on this, make it special on Father's Day, think about donating to the Jimmy V Foundation. There's lots of fathers out there always fighting to fight, and as a survivor, that's important to keep a positive outlook and support the cause.
Attaboy.
Wow, I can't really follow that up. I was going to say, get your dad a beer or something. But that's that way better right there. That's it. Follow that message.
Our priority is a little different at this stage in our
Sorry
lives, but that's okay. You know, World Cup is going on right now over in Russia, and you know, it's so hard to I feel like it's the same thing with the Olympics. When it's in a different time zone, it's so hard. I mean, you got to wake up early and watch the games, and if you're not a huge soccer fan, you kind of miss out on it. But there's been some pretty good games so far. I think Iceland is the story so far, right? First time?
First World Cup game, they tie Argentina. Argentina looks at that as a loss, even though it doesn't really relate that way in the tournament. But Iceland, I mean, what do they got to look forward to? I mean, it's ice and darkness, a lot of the time, and they win the World Cup in their first. I mean, a game in their tie in the first game.
And they're going up against one of the best in the world. Lionel Messi has a PK to win it, and they stuff him. Yeah, see you later, Lionel. Apparently, after the game, it was almost like he apologized for missing the shot, and it's like, dude, you didn't lose the game.
Right, and the goalie said he studied the tape on him and felt that was his best option, because they really got to react as the kick is made. You can't.
It's amazing. 11 shots for Messi, no goals.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's just unbelievable.
The fan base is just beside themselves. They just can't believe it.
Yeah.
I do think one of the coolest things is if you haven't seen Iceland, the way that they chant, they all put their hands up and they wait, and then they all clap together. Yeah. And it's like they got it on a timer. I don't know what the seconds are, but it's like the whole half the stadium is so cool too.
Soccer fans are so unique. They really are. And that's why the 2026 bid here in the United States, Mexico, Canada, obviously North America are going to share it. That'll be massive. Not to mention there's going to be a lot of players on the U.S. team. At least 5 that I know. I talked to a soccer expert that I trust. He thinks the U.S., they'll be ready to go in 2026, so it should be exciting.
I think it's really cool that they're doing 3 countries. And I think that we should see a shift in this, not only for this, but for the Olympics and other world events, because you can't, I'm sure Morocco, who they lost the bid to, was upset about not getting the bid. But I'm sorry, Morocco, do you have 12 stadiums for 40,000 plus people ready to go now that you don't have to waste your government resources to build? And how many times do you see, Russia's Winter Olympic stuff is all overgrown and they're not taking care of it. And it's like, do it where it makes sense infrastructurally, and to do it with 3 countries in the same time zone. How cool is it going to be? I mean, that might be something I'd be like, you know what, I would consider going down to Mexico City for a game, or going up to Toronto if they host, or Vancouver to watch a game, because that would be a lot of fun, and it's not necessarily going across the world to go watch a game that I'm not particularly, but I mean, for local soccer fans.
Well, how about in 2022, if Detroit gets a franchise here, would Ford Field be out of the equation? Maybe.
I think they've already identified the 16 cities in all of the 3 countries that could potentially host it. They're going to narrow it down, I think, to 8. But it's like Cincinnati just got a bid, so Cincinnati's in there now for a bid. Toronto, of course, is going to be right up there, and then the East Coast
outside too, right?
Yeah.
I mean that.
I mean, it's going to be great. And I'm not. We've just talked. We're not huge soccer fans, but at the same time. DCFC is going to be so mad at us for saying that. Any of the Detroit City Football Club out there. Sorry, guys. We love what you guys do. But
passionate fan base.
Passionate fan base, that's
for sure. The MLS would work here if they actually did ever bring it here. Now, I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but it would work.
I think so. I think it would. I think there's enough soccer fans. All right, there it is. That's the 3rd year in a row there, Pops. Good job. Knock it out of the park. I can go back to playing golf and being retired and stuff. Kyle, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Go hang out with your dad. Make sure you give him a call. Say hello today. Happy Father's Day to everybody. We'll see you guys next week.